I believe it is time we find out what lies beyond in the West.
What do you have in mind, Mr. President?
An expedition that will map new lands in the West, charting plants and animals, establish peace and trade with the people living there, find spots for military bases, and find a waterway through the Pacific.
How will we do that?
We will need Congress's approval and $2,500 to do so.
Who will head this expedition?
I have my former secretary, Meriwether Lewis, in mind. He has much military experience and would serve as a fine leader on this expedition. We would need more men as translators to make this expedition a reality.
What will he call this expedition?
The Corpse of Discovery.
Mr. President,
Nice to see you again.
nice to see you.
We're planning an expedition in the West to find, hopefully, a passageway in the Pacific and survey new lands. Would you be interested in leading the expedition?
Under a few conditions. I have Clark as my co-captain, and I help with the recruitment process.
That can be arranged. Are you in?
I'm in.
William Clark, born on August 1st, 1770, in Caroline County, Virginia, brother of George Rogers Clark, a prominent military figure and war hero in the American Revolution. At the age of 19, William Clark entered into the military. He first served in the militia, then entered into the United States Army. Clark became friends with Meriwether Lewis while the two served together in 1795. 8 years later, Clark, who is known as an experienced soldier, outdoorsman, and excellent map maker, was sent a letter by his old friend Meriwether Lewis, inviting him to share command of an expedition of the lands west of the Mississippi River. Meriwether Lewis, born August 18, 1774, near Ivy, Virginia. Lewis was a soldier and helped end the Whiskey Rebellion. Lewis went on to achieve the rank of captain. President Jefferson made Lewis an offer to lead an expedition west of the Mississippi. In the summer of 1803, Meriwether Lewis takes a boat down the Ohio River to pick up William Clark. Lewis brings along a dog named Seaman, and Clark brings a slave since childhood named York. On May 14, 1804, the expedition sets out of St. Charles, Missouri, at Camp Du Bois. The expedition involved nearly 40 men. The precise number is unknown. Jefferson often described Lewis and Clark's expedition as a scientific mission to study the lands acquired in 1803 in the Louisiana Purchase. But the explorers' central goal was to find a water route to the Pacific, which would increase trade opportunities and help solidify an American claim on the far northwest. That was distressing news for the Spanish, who feared the expedition might lead to the seizure of their gold-rich territories in the southwest. On the suggestions of the U.S. Army General James Wilkinson, a Spanish spy, the governor of New Mexico dispatched 4 different groups of Spanish soldiers and Comanche Indians to intercept the explorers and bring them back in chains. Luckily for Lewis and Clark, the hostile search parties failed to locate them in the vastness of the frontier.
The United States of America has claimed this land for their own. There will be more of us to come later.
August 3rd, 1804. The first official council between representatives of the United States and Western Indians occur north of present-day Omaha. When Corpse of Discovery meets with small delegation of Oto and Missouri Indians, captains establish routines for subsequent Indian councils. They hand out peace medals, 15-star flags, and gifts. Men parade and show off technology like magnets, compasses, telescopes, and Lewis's airgun. They also give speeches saying Indians have new great father far to the east and promising future of peace and prosperity if tribes don't make war on whites or other tribes. On September 7th, 1804, moving into the Great Plains, the expedition begins seeing animals unknown in the east: coyotes, antelopes, mule deer, and others. On this particular day, all the men are employed drowning a prairie dog out of its hole for shipment back to Jefferson. In all, the captains would describe in their journals 178 plants and 122 animals that previously had not been recorded for science. The captains hired Toussaint Charbonneau, a French-Canadian fur trader living among the Hidatsas, as an interpreter. His young Shoshone wife, Sacagawea, had been captured by the Hidatsas several years earlier and sold to Charbonneau along with another Shoshone girl. Having been told that the Shoshone live at the headwaters of Missouri and have many horses, the captains believed the two will be helpful when the expedition reaches the mountains. Sacagawea quickly grew more important to the expedition. She showed men edible plants and fruits and served as an interpreter.
We have to find a place to stay for the winter.
On November 24th, 1805, the expedition has a crucial decision to make on where to spend the winter. The captains decide to put it to a vote. Significantly, Clark's slave York is allowed to vote, nearly 60 years before slaves would be set free. Sacagawea, the Indian woman, votes too, more than a century before either women or Indians are granted full rights of citizenship. One of the most legendary members of the Lewis and Clark expedition was Sacagawea, a teenage Shoshone Indian who had been kidnapped from her native tribe. Sacagawea, her husband, and newborn son joined up with the explorers in 1804. During their journey, they had a run-in with a band of Shoshones in the summer of 1805. She famously discovered the tribe's chief was none other than her long-lost brother, whom she had not seen since her abduction 5 years earlier. The emotional reunion helped make peaceful relations between the explorers and Shoshone, allowing the expedition to receive much-needed horses. Heading back towards the Missouri River, Lewis sees 8 Blackfeet warriors. They camp together warily. But the morning of the 27th, the explorers catch the Blackfeet trying to steal their horses and guns. In the fight that follows, 2 Blackfeet are killed, the only act of bloodshed during the entire expedition. Lewis leaves peace medals around the neck of one of the corpses. The explorers gallop away, riding for 24 straight hours. Fall 1806, their last days as the corpse of Discovery. They reach St. Louis, having been gone nearly 2.5 years. They have been given up for dead by the citizens, who greet the explorers enthusiastically. The captains are national heroes. As they travel to Washington, D.C., balls and galas are held in towns they pass through. In the capital, one senator tells Lewis it is as if he had just returned from the moon. The men get double pay and 320 acres of land as rewards. The captains get 1,600 acres. Lewis is named the governor of the Louisiana Territory. Clark is made Indian agent for the West and brigadier general for the territory's militia.